It is in the example of love, when we see it, that we can share it, and that we can understand that the commitment of it shows us how to be and which way we should act, because it is all this teaching is about. Living the principle is only about having an understanding of what it is that we need to do so that we can empower ourselves and live from within so that we can stand and move through any condition. Because if you don't understand who you are, it's going to be a challenge for you to move through this life. Because there are obstacles, there are circumstances and situations that come up that make us feel like it's hard, that we shouldn't do it, that why am I trying this? My father left me. My mother left me. I've been raped. I've been a drug addict. I've been a thief. I've been a murderer. Guess what? You still have an opportunity to change the circumstance in which you find yourself in. Learn from the condition. It's only a lesson. How strong are you? Are you willing to stand up and go through this experience so that you can show others who are watching you how good you have it? But guess what? It ain't you. It's the power that's within you.
Amen.
Because this power itself called you forth. I know some of us don't understand that. I ain't called me forth. Because we look at the biological act of this circumstance and we think that's how we got here. No. You were called from a spiritual existence to bring about a change in this world that it has never seen. We think times is hard now. Somebody, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X said, you know what? There is a change that is needed, and I'm going to stand up and I'm going to be the one to represent it so that it can change. And so here we are, able to come together. Ain't worried about nothing. And so guess what? Because we got a little slow. We was looking around and we got happy with what we had. Stopped working on our kids and just start giving them everything. A new condition has arisen that's asking us to stand up and change it. Get ready. Get ready. Because it needs us, and even the minute part you may play, it is big enough to help those who you come in contact with. So help them. So happy anniversary, LA 3rd. Our theme this month is living the principles. Reverend Amon started us off this month with the Serenity Prayer. And, Serenity Prayer teaches us to be aware of the circumstances that we're in and be patient with what it is we may be going through so that we can know and feel and get the difference between when we need to act. And then Reverend Marquita talked about how we are all important and that we are a conduit for God and we are impactful to our fellow man. And then Dr. Ronnie came along and he asked us, what does that mean to us? And what are you going to do about it? And are you living the principles? Living the principles allows us to develop skills and to use them to build a prosperous life. So we have to understand what God is, who God is, and how God is. In other words, how it operates. The thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. These are the principles that we use to get an understanding of this teaching. And so what I want to do today to address the living principles topic, I'm going to take it from the perspective of who is God and what is God to me. But to make it more inclusive, I'm going to say who is God and what is God to us? See, we have to find or recognize what God is and means to us in order for us to use it. Yeah. It's just like, I coach sports, I coach football, and when we coach the kids, we always tell them that they must become aware of their position. And so we want them to study their opponent. So in other words, know what the opponent is doing. So if you come to the line of scrimmage, and I know everyone is not familiar with football, but bear with me, I'll try to make it as simple as possible. So what we try to get them to see is that when you come to the line of scrimmage, you need to watch what the person in front of you is doing. He will give you a signal or a key to what he's going to do. And then you react based on that. For instance, sometimes when the linemen come to the line of scrimmage, they lean forward, which means their hand will go flat because most of these guys are very large. So they lean forward, that means they're coming after you. It's going to probably be a running play, and they're going to try to move you out the way. Okay? So in practice, we all learned that you must make sure you stay low and fight back. But my point to this is that you have to know what your responsibility is in this thing called life.
Amen. Exactly.
Like, know your part. Okay? And so Ernest Holmes states it to us this way. He says, we are to know the truth by its fruits. The certain estimate, I'll get to that. The certain estimate of reality is ever evidenced by its worth in actual living. We are not to separate from living, nor God from his creation. One is the cause, the other is the effects.
Amen.
The invisible things of God are manifested through the visible. And unless the invisible thought and desire of man is in line with truth, his acts will fall into error. While we are told not to judge, we are clearly warned not to fall under the illusion of accepting the false for the truth.
Come on.
Okay? So what that's telling us is just because you run into a circumstance that may not be to your liking, if you can change it, it ain't true. It stays the same. If you can change it,
say that again.
fix it. Fix it. Keep living. Keep fighting through whatever circumstance you may be going through, and understand that you have the power back in you to do it, to accomplish it, to overcome it, to move it out of my way, your way, his way, their way, everybody's way, if you believe you can. Because if you living from an experience that you say that woe is me, woe is you. There's never been a time when there was not a struggle. There has never been a time where there was a circumstance that a person couldn't overcome. Everybody in this building, and everywhere, every door, every neighbor, every person has experienced hurt, distrust, disrespect, anger, frustration, hostility. Man, you name it. Take your card. Pull it. But don't quit on yourself because it happened. Yeah, it hurt. Well, the reason I stopped like that is because, when I was a kid, my father had a heart attack when I was in middle school. So I was probably like about 13, And so he ended up losing his job because he couldn't work. He had a massive heart attack at work. So, that just kind of. So when my father came home out the hospital, my father came in the house and he told us, he said, you know what? He said, we're not going to lose this house. We're going to make it, we're going to survive, but this is what we're going to do. Okay? before you go to school every morning, we're going to get in my truck. We're going to go on this route. We're going to pick up paper. We're going to pick up aluminum. We're going to pick up copper. We're going to pick up felt. We're going to do all this. And then you're going to go to school to educate yourself so that you can find and have an easier way to be successful in your life.
Yeah.
He found a way.
Yes.
He didn't say, oh, you know, I just had this massive heart attack. They're going to hire me back. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Amen.
If you fall to that, then you're not going to do nothing.
Yeah.
You're looking at your condition. Stop looking. Look where you're going.
Yeah.
Look out. See beyond.
Yes.
See beyond where you are.
Yes.
And we have to recognize that we are born in this image and likeness of God.
Yeah.
Whether you accept it or not, you're using it. You use it.
Yeah.
Maybe erroneously, but you're using it. We have within ourselves the potential to achieve anything.
Amen.
Health,
Yeah.
love,
Yes.
joy, wisdom,
Amen.
power, and intelligence, which comes directly from the source.
Yes.
Just go get it. Go get it.
Yeah.
You know, when I was rolling in here this morning, a gentleman, he stopped me and he said, you know, I want to come in and I want to be a part of church, but I don't know what to do. I said, what is it telling you? What is your mind telling you? How are you being guided? Are you being told to go somewhere? Then you need to go. That's how you're going to figure out what it is you're supposed to do. And you got to follow what you've been told to do.
Yes. Yes.
Rule number one, follow instructions. You got to follow it. So this source is connected to our minds and in our belief in who we are and based on our actions. How are you reacting to it? Are you ready to quit? Because this perception allows us to create forms to enhance our lives for the better when we allow it to work through us. If we accept the view that God created man in his image and likeness, then we have to accept that God used the best materials available.
Yes. Yeah.
They say it was void.
That's
It
amen.
was dark.
Yeah.
Amen.
So he had to call life forth from within himself.
Wow.
That's the best materials. And then
Right.
if you read further, he said it was good. and I get it and I understand. It's hurtful because sometimes we do make mistakes. And sometimes when we make a mistake, that mistake puts us in a position that makes it more challenging for us to get to where we're going.
Right.
It only makes it more challenging. That's all. Just look for the way out. What can I do differently to improve from where I am?
Yes.
What is it that I need to do in this circumstance to receive what I need to get me to my next step? Where am I to go to get this information that's going to better me to improve what I'm trying to do? We have to talk. We have to ask questions of ourselves because we're being led when we're alone, when we're within our own selves. We receive the blessings by confessing the good life, praising life, and giving God thanks for it.
Amen.
Act as though we are alive and glad to be alive.
Yes,
And you will gain a new realization of life and an increase in life itself.
That's right.
Be happy.
Yes.
Rejoice.
Yes.
We all been there. We all lived in a family where sometimes we only had a pot of beans. But we was happy with those pot of beans. We felt good. Everybody came over. Everybody brought what they had, and we just ate what we had.
Yeah.
But now we done moved up a little bit. We done got some jobs, man. We making a little more money. We bringing them beans over here. We had chicken and greens last week. Man, be thankful.
Amen.
We should never doubt ourselves because we are not doing it. It is the spirit that is within
Yes.
that is doing the work.
Yeah. Preacher.
So we must appreciate it.
Yes.
Because this God's spirit that we're talking about, it is omnipotence.
Yes.
It's the all-powerful one. God is omniscient, the all-knowing, all-perceiving mind. God is omnipresent, the constant presence of the undivided world. The world is not, that's us. We place it on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in other words, what this is saying, this spiritual presence is in all, through all, sustains and maintains all.
Yes.
And an example for you is musicians like Ron and Bobo and Dexter. You know, when they write and arrange and compose and produce their material songs, it's all from within.
That's right.
Amen.
Yeah.
It's all from within, what they're hearing and what's going on, what experiences they had.
Yeah.
That's what they're delivering. And so that's where we live from. So what it's saying is that be a part of your life. Be active in it. Right? Don't see yourself going somewhere. Give it an image. Give it an idea.
Yes.
The book says that people without a vision perish. These are clues. These are clues. That's all it is.
Yes.
We got to stop confusing ourselves. Man, we powerful.
Yeah.
We powerful.
Yes, sir.
And in all our increases, we must accept that God is the giver of the gift. But sometimes we attain things under the misconception that is from our personal efforts. It needs you to do it. It works through you.
That's right.
That's
As you a conduit.
Yes.
That's all we are. And when in fact, it comes by the operation of a universal law. The laws in place. And we just using it. When we speak into it, just like in the beginning, he spoke into the ether, and out of that came the existing things. It's an example.
Yeah.
It's an example of what can happen.
Yeah.
And here we are. There's things that we've seen show up in our lives. Radios, televisions.
Yes.
And sometimes when these things first came on, what we say, oh, that's the end. What they do, you know, pretty soon we're going to have numbers on our forehead.
Right.
Come on, really? It makes it easier. Right? I mean, sometimes we talk about how, you know, we miss, you know, the old days. Sometimes, you know, it's good to reach back and enjoy what we've done or what has happened to us, because that's what propelled us to where we are. But we got to also know that right here, right now is good as well.
Amen.
Because some of us don't want to get up and go change that TV. We'll sit back and just flip it. Some of us where we live now, your living room is big. You can't just go 3 feet and turn it. You know, you walk about 30 yards. Think about it. And so when we don't understand the process, we are unable to repeat the function to achieve the desired effect. You got to know what you're doing. You got to follow the process. Whatever made you successful, keep repeating it. Keep repeating it. Use it up until it gives you another idea of something else to do to make it better. Keep using the same. And so as an example, when a farmer plants a seed, that seed has everything within it to produce it, whether it's an avocado, a mango, or a watermelon. It has all it needs. And all the farmer does is he takes the seed, he puts it in the soil. The soil is creative mind.
Yeah. Amen.
Yes.
Okay? Creative mind just receives it.
Yes.
Just takes it. Then he waters the seeds, and sometimes, you know, a little later we add a miracle grow. But liquid and water increases the unexpressed potential. And in our affairs, we use affirmations.
Come on.
Yes.
Use your affirmations on the circumstance that you're going through.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Keep using your affirmations.
Amen.
And then the farmer has to pull out the weeds that grow around it.
Yeah.
Negative thoughts have to be rebuked from our conscience.
Yes.
But they're going to show up.
Oh, boy.
So here's an example I want to share with you that Jesus had when he was sitting on the mountain and the devil appeared to him. It's in Matthew 4 and 1:11 for those who want to go back and kind of get the metaphysical understanding of it. And so what it says is that Jesus was led up to the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungry. And when the tempter came to him, he said, "If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made of bread." Now let me ask you a question. Who has been alone and had to deal with stuff that come up in their mind? So you gotta look at it. You gotta stop tricking yourself that, somehow this is some mysterious thing that's going on. It can only react. We're people, we're humans. We have to see it from our perspective. Of course you get tempted, right? It's the circumstances of life that is going on that people enjoy certain different things. It's gonna come up. But you speak to it. If you don't want it, speak to it.
Yes.
He told him to turn the stones to bread. He said, "Hey, man, should I live by bread alone?" So what's bothering you? Speak to it. Tell it don't have a place. Then he took him up a little higher and says, look out on this temple. Look out all over here. Man, if you fall out, show me your power. Right? What you got? You think you got you what? He didn't say, "Well, man, I can do it." He just told him, "Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God." Just don't fall for it. I moved away from this circumstance. Once it reveals to you that it's no longer for you, move away.
Yes. There you go.
That's what you gotta hear. That's what you gotta see. You gotta know that you can only deal with this spiritual life through your human understanding of it. It is our own circumstances that we're dealing with. And we have to know that when the voice speaks to you and tells you that, you know what, you've been doing this. Now I think it's time for you to go over here and go to this place and get this or do that. Now it may be time for you to start walking 3 houses. So you need to start walking 3 houses because that's what you heard. Right? You have to listen to what it's telling you to start beginning to do. Because as we do that, then we become more aware of what it is that we have, what we're hearing, and how to react to it as it gave us what we needed to accomplish it.
Amen.
It can only tell it through us and in our minds.
Yeah.
That's where we all receive stuff.
Yes.
So we have to understand that so that we can utilize it. So then he goes on and says, "Blessed are they that are hungry and thirst after righteousness." Who's seeking it? If you thirst when you're hungry, you got to go get it. That's who's going to get it. Because this law is based on mind and it operates through our thoughts and words.
Yes.
And in the beginning, God called forth life by saying, "Let there be light."
Yes.
It just means understanding. We got to understand what it is we're dealing with and the circumstance we're in. You got to understand it. So, and we have to recognize that we ourselves are the co-creators with God.
Amen.
And we need to, and we should use the following deeds to help us through this circumstance. And so in order to tap into this spiritual power, we must use desire, dedication, determination, and be disciplined.
Amen.
We have to remember we cannot purchase these deeds, and we have to understand that they are within us and can be used at any time, any place, and anywhere we need them.
Yes.
So the first D, and in no particular order, just a D, you gotta have desire. Is it important to you? What is your dream or goal, and how badly do you want it? Do you really want it? Because that desire, that passion is what's going to push you towards it. Dedication. Dedication is turning desire into action.
Amen.
Which requires a lasting commitment. Are you committed to it?
All right.
Or did it make you stop because it took longer than you thought it would?
Come on.
It has been said, if you don't make a total commitment to whatever you are doing, then you start looking to bail out at the first time the boat starts to leak. You can't give up on yourself.
Amen.
Despite how it looks. Determination. Everyone wants to be successful, but those who achieve success are guided by an unwavering resolve. You must become self-motivated.
Yes.
Discipline. It means doing what you have to do when you need to do it, whether you want to or not. Self-discipline is the only way you will succeed, and it is action-oriented.
Amen.
Setting your goal is not the main thing. It is deciding how you will go about achieving it and staying with that plan. The key is to be disciplined.
Amen.
Once you have your dream and your direction, it is desire, dedication, and determination and discipline that keep you going. So ask yourself, are you walking your talk? Are you willing to sacrifice yourself to understand the commitment that you need to achieve it?
Yes.
Because that's what it takes. Don't judge the time. Just do it. You know, I was watching this program, and it talked about Ford, and it talked about Firestone. And what I discovered, or what I heard through watching this program, is that Firestone was trying to discover rubber. He didn't know nothing about a car. He was trying to discover rubber. Ford was making a car. And then after 5 years trying to find the right component to make rubber, he discovered rubber. And now all of us are riding around on rubber wheels.
Amen.
Don't look at your circumstance.
That's right. That's right.
Look at where you're going. And know that you are in part. It's not you. It's not us. Yeah, we gotten older. Yeah, we have. You know what? I'm going to say this and then I'm going to sit down. You know, you guys are all aware that, I've had this hip surgery. It's been 2 years. But what I decided to do these last 2 months, I've been able to work from home, is that I got myself up. I started riding my bike.
Yes.
I started going to the gym.
There you go.
I just started just changing and doing things. I'm like, I got this new time that's available to me. Why am I still acting like I don't have no time? And I just feel just so much better.
Amen.
It's been 2 months, and you just gotta go.
Amen.
Just do it until it shows up. Unfortunately, time has limited. But you know what? No, because then I gotta deal with that later. So I love you all. And may you receive and know that God has breathed the breath of life into you
Yeah.
and is waiting for your next beckoning call
Yes, sir.
to do something on your behalf.